If you prescribe to variety is the spice of life, then Glock probably looks about as appealing to you as a bowl of burnt porridge. Sig, on the other hand, has a dizzying array of pistols. Now, I find myself landing in the middle there, and when I found out that Sig was offering some 380 flavors of their 365s, I pretty much dismissed them. Well, dismiss probably isn't the right term. It was just the case that I had everything I needed, and the 380 did nothing I needed it to. I was aware of it and understood its appeal. Now, like with a lot of these videos, sometimes I have to admit that I misjudged, and with the Sig P365 Luxe 380, I have to admit that again, even though the name is stupid. Now, I do like the 365 platform. I got my hands on one of the first 365 XLs that got to Colorado. I've carried this thing for years and have thousands of rounds through it, and only changed the recoil spring when the round count got high enough. I even started my journey into pistol optics on my 365 XL. I was really happy with it and kind of ignored the iterations of the Sig line. The Luxe is making me re-examine that. A portion of the equipment and ammunition in this video has been provided by Clark Construction Company. If you're looking for commercial or residential design, construction, or remodeling in Central Colorado, call Clark Construction. If you've got a project that you need done right the first time, or have a project that wasn't quite done right the first time, then Clark Construction can help you. Special thanks to Clark Construction for keeping Upspin Ballistics going. Sig has managed to make a gorgeous pistol here. The black finish has metal flecks in it that make it radiate in the sun while not being as garish as polished hard chrome or nickel. The grips have a three-pointed star texture that, while matching the aesthetic of the Luxe, is still pretty grippy. The question at hand is, well, Sig made a pretty pistol, did they make a shooting pistol? A compensated 380 may seem cool, and, well, it is. The compensator on the Luxe soaks up a lot of recoil in there. I will almost always suggest a larger pistol for newer shooters for comfort and management's sake, but the Luxe does add a caveat in there. Now, it doesn't shoot like a full-size pistol, physics just doesn't work that way, but the compensator rounds out and takes out a lot of the disruptive qualities of shooting a smaller pistol. The controls are what you will be used to on a normal 365 with one major departure, and that being the slide release. They've actually put a slightly extended slide release on the Luxe, and with my 365 XL, that tiny slide release was one of my biggest gripes about it. It was hard to use, and I'm glad that Sig is finally realizing that small controls are stupid. Now, the Luxe does have the X trigger that came out with the 365 XL, and Sig was really proud of that trigger when they shouldn't have been. It's gritty to the point of being stagey. With the Luxe, you get 7mm of take up to the wall, and then 4mm where you roll through gravel to the brake, and then 2mm of over travel. You can still run the Luxe and other 365s fast and hard as you've seen, but at this level of pistol, I kind of expect a bit of refinement in there. The frame on the Luxe is actually pretty well done. There's an undercut under the trigger guard that is pretty much textbook, and there's some pretty high quality checkering on the front and back strap, but on the back strap they could have standed to make that go up way higher, even an inch or so. It doesn't really get to where it needs to engage with the meaty part of your hand. I know that's more time on a machine for them, but at this level I really don't care, I just want it done right. Now, Sig has chosen to go with a traditional accessory rail on here rather than the proprietary rail that the 365 had. So the Luxe doesn't fit into my Eclipse holster's holster. When you go to order a holster for this, make sure you get the 365 macro holster. The surface finish is slightly slick, a compromise Sig had to do to get that high luster finish. Luckily they put the time and effort into the slide serrations on there. They're deep and wide, but more importantly, they're not tapered or radiused, so you can get a really good grip on there. I haven't run into any problems manipulating the slide on the Luxe. As you go through mag after mag, you forget that you're running a full power centerfire cartridge in the Luxe. Well, full-ish power. The Ruger LCP that I carried when I had to wear scrubs full time was not pleasant to shoot at all, and now that I have more freedom in my wardrobe, I wouldn't think to carry it ever again. The Luxe, on the other hand, is absolutely on the table with its 12-round capacity and minuscule recoil. Running drills like box target drills, bill drills, and Mozambiques was just easy as could be. The compensator is absolutely putting in a lot of work for a massive result. The Luxe has an appearance that, while not ostentatious, is quite eye-catching. Luckily, it doesn't just stop at looks. Sig has managed to make a really good shooting little pistol here. Of all the 380s out there, there's not many that I can think that would do what this does, the Beretta 80X Cheetah being one of them. And I think the Luxe eclipses that, and you all know how much I adore Beretta. Sig really managed to surprise me with this, and right now I'm starting to think that the problem more lies with me. Though I still think the name P365 Luxe 380 is stupid. Anyway, if you stuck around this long, I just want to say thank you. Leaving a like and comment helps us fight back the algorithm, and subscribe because I have a ton more content coming your way.